They told you death is the end. Darkness. Nothing. But what if I told you that the first minutes after death are anything but empty? That in those moments, something happens so powerful, so undeniable, that it could change the way you see life itself. Forget everything you thought you knew, because science, spirituality, and thousands of near-death accounts reveal a truth most people are too afraid to face. The first minutes after death are not silence, they are a journey. And what you're about to discover will shake your beliefs to the core. Stay with me until the end, because what I'll show you could give you hope, could give you chills, and might even answer the question you've secretly asked your entire life: what really happens when we die? So before we begin, do this: hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone you love. Because trust me, you're going to want them to know this too. What if I told you that, in the very last seconds before death, something extraordinary happens, something doctors can measure, but only those who've been there can describe? It's as if the body sends a final message, a hidden signal that whispers to the soul, it's time to cross over. Some describe it as overwhelming peace, others as crushing fear, but all agree on one thing: this moment is unforgettable. Picture it: the heartbeat slows, breaths become shallow, and then, silence. But instead of darkness, many near-death survivors report a sudden surge of clarity, like waking up from a long, confusing dream. They speak of memories flashing before their eyes, moments replaying in fast motion, as if an invisible projector was showing their entire life story in seconds. Scientists explain it as a burst of electrical activity in the brain, but is that really the whole truth? Because here's the twist: those who return from near-death experiences often describe sensations that go beyond science. A tunnel of light. Voices calling their name. The feeling of being lifted out of their body, looking down at the very scene of their own death. It's haunting, yet strangely comforting, like being both everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And here's where the mystery deepens. Are these just the final fireworks of a dying brain, or the first steps into another dimension? Ancient traditions, spiritual texts, and modern accounts from people across cultures point to the same idea: the soul doesn't just stop, it transitions. If that's true, those last seconds are not an ending, but the most powerful beginning of all. But if the soul feels this when death is expected, what about when it comes suddenly, through an accident, a heart attack, or a tragedy with no warning at all? Does the soul suffer in shock, or is there something, or someone, waiting on the other side? That's where the story gets even more astonishing, and it may just change the way you see grief forever. When someone dies without warning, an accident, a heart attack, a tragedy that rips them away in an instant, the first question we ask is, do they suffer? The sudden silence, the unfinished words, the absence of goodbye, it leaves the living with unbearable weight. But the truth is, even in sudden death, the soul is never left alone. Those who've had near-death experiences after sudden trauma describe something remarkable. They don't recall chaos or confusion; instead, they speak of being gently pulled away, almost shielded from the shock. Like a child being carried out of a storm, the soul seems to be guided before it even realizes the body has stopped. And here's where it gets deeply emotional. Countless accounts speak of familiar presences, family members who passed long before, or luminous beings radiating calm, waiting on the other side. For the soul, there's no violent end, only a soft transition, as if an unseen hand was saying, "You're safe now. Come with me." This idea isn't just spiritual poetry. Across cultures, stories repeat: those who leave suddenly are received, not abandoned. The body may have no time to prepare, but the soul is met with comfort, almost as if a rescue team exists in that invisible world, ready to step in when death comes too fast. So, if death strikes in an instant, the question isn't if the soul suffers, but who comes to guide it. And that leads us into an even greater mystery: what exactly do spiritual traditions and people who've crossed the threshold reveal about those very last seconds? What they describe will make you see death not as an ending, but as a doorway. Imagine standing at the edge of life, one foot in this world and the other already touching the unknown. Many spiritual accounts claim that in those final seconds, the soul sees more than science can ever measure. It's not just flashes of memory, it's a sudden awakening, as if a curtain is lifted and the invisible becomes undeniable. Mediums and spiritual traditions across cultures describe the same vision, a light that feels alive, pulling with both warmth and authority. Some compare it to waking from a dream where every worry dissolves instantly. Others describe it like shedding a heavy coat you didn't even realize you were wearing. The release is immediate, and it feels liberating. But the mystery doesn't stop there. Spirits are said to reveal that time itself bends in this moment. Seconds stretch into eternity. In that instant, a person might review an entire lifetime, not just watching their choices, but feeling the impact of every word, every action, on others. It's not judgment, it's understanding, pure and undeniable. These revelations are more than stories. From Tibetan texts to modern near-death survivors, the message repeats: the last seconds are not chaos, but clarity. A soul doesn't stumble into darkness, it steps into awareness. And while fear may be the body's reaction, the soul experiences something far more profound. But here's the haunting question: if spirits can reveal this level of clarity in the last heartbeat, does that mean they can still reach back, whispering to the living after they've crossed over? The answer might already be around you, in subtle signs, in dreams, in moments that feel like more than coincidence. When someone we love dies, the silence they leave behind feels unbearable. But across cultures and countless personal stories, one truth echoes: death doesn't always mean absence. Many people claim their loved ones still reach out, leaving subtle but powerful signs that they are closer than we think. And once you know what to look for, you'll never see those moments the same way again. The first sign often comes in dreams, so vivid, so real, that you wake up convinced you actually met them. These aren't ordinary dreams. People describe conversations that feel clear, hugs that feel warm, and messages too specific to be coincidence. Could it be that dreams are the bridge where souls meet? Another common sign is sudden, overwhelming peace. You might be crying one moment, only to feel a calm wash over you, as if an invisible hand was resting on your shoulder. Some even report chills or goosebumps at the exact moment they were thinking of the person. Coincidence? Or presence? Then there are physical signs: objects falling without explanation, a song that plays at the exact right time, or a scent, like perfume, coffee, or tobacco, that belonged to the one who passed. These are moments people describe with one word: undeniable. And the more they happen, the harder it is to dismiss them. But perhaps the most powerful sign is the way they appear in your thoughts. Not random, but precise, like advice you needed, or a sudden reminder of something only they would say. If these signs are real, it means your loved ones aren't just memories, they're still with you, guiding, watching, and maybe even speaking. And if that's true, what other ways could they be reaching out? Your heart stops. The world around you fades. For a moment, there is silence so absolute it feels like the universe itself is holding its breath. But this silence is not empty, it's the threshold. In those first 60 seconds, countless near-death survivors and spiritual teachings agree: something extraordinary unfolds. Instead of darkness, many describe light, sometimes a tunnel, sometimes a glow that feels alive, pulling them forward with irresistible warmth. Others recall floating above their body, watching doctors, family, or strangers, unable to speak but fully aware. It's as if the soul slips loose, weightless and unbound, yet still tethered by curiosity to the life it just left. There are reports of voices too, not always human. Some hear loved ones calling softly, others describe a presence guiding them without words. The strange part? Fear often disappears. In place of panic comes calm, almost like a hidden instinct awakens, whispering, "You're safe. Just let go." Science frames this moment as the last sparks of brain activity, a storm of neurons firing in chaos. But those who have returned insist it feels more real than life itself. The clarity, the peace, the sense of being welcomed, it's hard to explain as mere chemistry. For them, those 60 seconds hold eternity inside them. And yet, this is only the beginning. Because if so much happens in the very first minute, what about the hours, the days, the endless beyond? If the soul truly continues its journey, the first 60 seconds are just the opening scene of a much greater story, one that might reveal where we all go next. Grief often leaves us searching for meaning in the smallest details. And many people swear their loved ones who have passed continue to send messages, subtle, powerful signals meant to say, "I'm still here." Once you know the signs, you start to notice them everywhere, and they no longer feel like coincidences. One of the most common signs comes through dreams, vivid, unforgettable encounters where the person feels real, their voice clear, their touch undeniable. These aren't like ordinary dreams. They're so powerful that people wake up convinced they actually spoke to the other side. Could dreams be the doorway between worlds? Another sign is sound, songs that play at the exact right moment, whispers when no one is near, or sudden changes in electronic devices. Some even describe hearing their name called in a familiar voice when they are completely alone. It's eerie, yes, but also comforting, as if love refuses to be silenced. Objects are another messenger. A photo falling without reason, lights flickering, or a personal belonging showing up in an unexpected place. These events often happen when someone is deep in thought or grief, as if the spirit knows exactly when to remind them, "I'm closer than you think." And then, there's the presence you feel but cannot see, goosebumps out of nowhere, a chill that brushes past, or even a wave of warmth that calms you instantly. These moments spark debate, imagination, or contact. But if so many people around the world share the same stories, maybe it's more than coincidence. Maybe it's proof that bonds of love do not end with death. History shows us horrors committed by people whose cruelty shook the world, figures like Hitler, Eichmann, or Mengele. They caused suffering on a scale almost too vast to imagine, and many ask, if human justice failed to fully punish them, what about divine or spiritual justice? What happens to souls so heavy with darkness? Spiritual traditions across the globe tell us that no one escapes the weight of their actions. While ordinary souls describe light, warmth, and peace in their final moments, accounts suggest that cruel leaders face something different, an overwhelming confrontation with the pain they caused. It's as if the suffering they inflicted circles back, mirrored into their own consciousness. Some mystics describe this as entering the lower realms, a place not of fire and pitchforks, but of raw awareness, a state where the soul feels every wound it created, every scream, every tear. Imagine the agony of carrying not only your own guilt but the echo of millions of lives. For some, this becomes the ultimate prison. But even here, stories differ. Certain teachings say that redemption is never completely denied, that even the darkest soul can eventually seek light, but only after enduring a cleansing so intense it shatters the very ego that caused the cruelty. In this view, hell is not a place you're thrown into, but a mirror you cannot escape. And that raises a haunting thought: if justice is written into the very fabric of existence, then no crime ever truly disappears. Every soul, great or small, faces its truth in the end. Which leads to the question, if that's what awaits tyrants and oppressors, what awaits the rest of us, in the quiet moments after death? The answer may be closer than you think. Every night, while your body rests, something extraordinary happens: your spirit steps out. Some call it astral projection, others simply describe it as dreaming, but traditions across the world insist your soul doesn't just shut down. Instead, it wanders, explores, and sometimes encounters things you'd never imagine. Many say this explains why some nights feel refreshing while others leave you drained, as if you fought battles in your sleep. Have you ever woken up exhausted after 8 hours of rest? Spiritual teachings suggest that in the astral world, your soul might have been dealing with energies, places, or even entities that shaped the night more than you remember. Some describe the astral as a vast city, layers of light and shadow, where spirits gather, learn, and even watch over the living. But there's also danger. Just as a city has safe neighborhoods and dark alleys, the astral has higher realms of peace and lower realms of unrest. That's why some dreams feel angelic, and others turn into nightmares. According to countless accounts, not all spirits there are friendly. The idea of encastos or heavy presences comes into play here, energies that cling to the living, feeding off their fears. This is why some people wake up with the sensation of being chased, watched, or drained, even though nothing real happened in the physical world. And here's the question that pulls us deeper: if every night we unconsciously visit this hidden dimension, what does that mean about the true nature of sleep? maybe it's not just rest, maybe it's training, encounters, and warnings from the other side. Which leaves us wondering, when loved ones who've passed appear in our dreams, are they just memories, or are they meeting us halfway? Losing someone we love leaves a hole so deep it feels impossible to fill. But across cultures, countless people share the same belief: our loved ones don't simply vanish. They stay near, watching, guiding, and sometimes sending small but powerful signs that they're closer than we think. One of the most common signs is through vivid dreams. These aren't ordinary dreams, they feel real, almost physical. People wake up certain they just spoke to their loved one, hugged them, or received advice too specific to be random. It feels less like imagination, and more like a visit. Another sign comes through sensations: goosebumps out of nowhere, the sudden scent of perfume or smoke connected to the person, or even a chill or warmth passing through the room. In moments of grief, these experiences often happen right when we're thinking about them, as if they can still respond to our thoughts. There are also physical phenomena: objects falling without reason, lights flickering, or a favorite song playing at the perfect moment. For those who experience it, the timing is impossible to ignore. It feels like their loved one found a way to say, "I'm here, don't forget me." And then, there's intuition, the sudden thought of them, or words in your mind that sound just like their voice, especially in times of need. Some call it coincidence. Others call it guidance. But if love truly survives death, then maybe these are not just signs, maybe they're conversations we haven't learned to listen to yet. Imagine this: the moment your soul leaves the body, you're not just drifting into light, you're confronted with the most profound experience of all. Spiritual traditions call it the life review, a panoramic replay of every single moment you've ever lived. But here's the twist: you don't just see what happened, you feel it. People who've gone through near-death experiences describe it like a movie projected in the mind, except every action comes with the emotions it created in others. If you caused joy, you feel that joy. If you caused pain, you feel that pain as if it were your own. It's not punishment, it's pure awareness, a chance to understand the ripple effect of your existence. This review isn't about judgment from an outside force, it's about self-realization. Many describe it as overwhelming, yet strangely loving, as if the universe itself was showing them, this is who you were. This is the mark you left. For some, it's beautiful. For others, it's unbearably heavy. Spiritual texts from Tibet to Christianity echo this idea in different forms, calling it the weighing of the soul, or the unveiling of karma. Modern survivors of near-death experiences echo the same message: we are far more connected than we think, and every action sends out waves we will one day feel again. And this leads to a haunting, but empowering thought: if the life review is real, then every choice we make today is part of the movie we'll watch tomorrow. The question is, when your time comes, will you be ready to face the story of your life, through the eyes of everyone you've ever touched? Now that you've seen what may happen in the very first minutes after death, let me ask you, how does this change the way you look at life? Are we really living the way we want, knowing that one day we'll face that crossing? Think about it: if every action leaves ripples that echo beyond this lifetime, what kind of legacy are you building today? When your time comes, will you be ready to relive everything you've done, not through your own eyes, but through the eyes of those you touched? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what you believe about what comes after death. Have you ever experienced something strange, a sign, a dream, a moment, that made you feel there's something beyond this life? Tell your story, because it might comfort or inspire someone else who's watching. And of course, if this video moved you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because we've got many more mysteries to explore together. Remember, death is not the end, it's just the continuation of a greater story. And the real question is, are you ready to write it?